Well, joining us right now for a conversation here on Agriculture of America, she is the Director of Nutrition and Food Innovation with the United Sorghum Checkoff Program. Lanier Dabruzzi is with us here today. Lanier, thanks so much for joining us on AOA. Hope all is well.
Hi, Jesse. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Well, I want to talk about the first ever human clinical trial on whole grain sorghum. This news I know came out a few weeks ago. Could you tell us broadly about this trial and share some background on how all of this started?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm the Director of Nutrition and Food Innovation, as you said, for the Sorghum Checkoff. So one of the joys of my job is I get to look at all the research around nutrition and how sorghum fits into a nutritious diet, and all the health benefits that come along with that. And so we have some incredible research around sorghum and health benefits, looking at heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity. A lot of benefits come from it. But many of these research studies are in animals or in vitro, so in labs. So this human clinical trial came about because the next logical step then is to look at these studies in humans. So what we're looking at is what we're doing is called a randomized controlled trial, which is the gold standard of research. What that means is participants are going to be divided into 3 groups randomly. And then each of those groups, these are going to be adults with obesity that we are looking at. They're going to receive food products made from 3 different grains: whole grain white sorghum, whole grain sumac sorghum, and white rice. White rice will be that control. And with that, what we're looking at are biomarkers. Biomarkers are like what your doctor looks at when they do blood tests, right? All the different levels are looking at the numbers, and it's kind of overwhelming. But what we're looking at is insulin resistance, because what insulin resistance shows is your propensity to get, or if you have diabetes. We're looking at blood lipids. Blood lipids are the measure of bloods, cholesterol, triglycerides in your blood, and that is an indicator of heart disease risk. We're also looking at antioxidant levels. I'm sure you've seen antioxidants a lot lately. It's a big buzzword. Sorghum is naturally very high in antioxidants, so we hypothesize with this increased sorghum consumption, your antioxidant levels will increase. And that's important because antioxidants fight oxidation and free radicals in your body. Free radicals left to their own devices lead to diseases like cancer. So being able to have those antioxidants in your body are so important. And additionally, we're looking at inflammatory markers, systemic inflammation. So inflammation markers all throughout your body is really indicative of various disease states. And then lastly, we're looking at the gut microbiota. The gut microbiome is huge right now. I'm sure you're seeing it a lot in the news as well. It's a pretty recent area of study, only the last decade or so looking at it. But what we're realizing is the gut microbiota is this window into so much nutrition and health and disease information for our body. So those are that's a top line kind of encompassing what we're looking at in this trial.
Well, and I think about this study and this trial, and you mentioned, the gut microbiome. I've had conversations about that before here in the last couple of years on the show. So thinking about where this could potentially lead, what could this mean for sorghum being an even bigger piece of a nutritional diet for adults? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. As a dietitian, I've been so thrilled and lucky to work with sorghum because it is such a highly nutritious part of a diet, and we certainly believe that. But what we're looking at here is really validating and even maybe discovering more reasons why Americans should include this super grain in their diet. Sorghum is called nature's super grain. We have that trademarked for a good reason because it is so tremendously nutritious. It is nutrient packed. It's naturally gluten-free, non-GMO, plant-based protein. And really, no matter your eating style, you can enjoy it and benefit from this amazing grain. One of the really unique properties of sorghum, and for those who have never seen sorghum or enjoyed it, for those watching, you can see it behind me on the stalks there. And if you're listening in, imagine like a little Israeli couscous, a small little berry. And what you can do with that is very unique to sorghum. You can enjoy it as the grain itself in soups or stews. You can mill it down to make a flour. As I said, it's naturally gluten-free, so used in a lot of gluten-free baking applications. But you can enjoy it in everything from brownies to tortillas when it comes to the flour. You can pop it. It looks like a little teeny piece of popcorn. And the great thing about that is that it doesn't have a hole, so it won't get stuck in your teeth like popcorn. In fact, we just released a new recipe. It's a marshmallow sorghum, pop sorghum treat. So imagine like a Rice Krispie treat, but with pop sorghum, and it is perfect for Halloween. So if you're looking for a good Halloween treat to make, be sure to visit our website. And then lastly, I mean, we're talking about all throughout the life stages and diet preferences. But baby and toddler puffs, I'm not sure if you've been down the baby and toddler aisle lately, but baby and toddler puffs are booming. And many of the companies that make them are switching from other grains to sorghum because of this immense nutrition punch that you get. I know a lot of the folks listening in and watching are really some of the hardest working folks in our country. So they might be interested to learn about the energy sustaining benefits of sorghum. Protein is big right now. As I said, I'm a dietitian, and I actually just got back from a nutrition conference, and we're hearing protein all over. It's on the front of pack of so many different packages, and you're hearing people saying, I need to get X amount of protein every day. But the other part of that equation is fiber. Fiber helps you stay fuller longer. And whole grain sorghum is an excellent source of fiber that helps you stay fuller longer. And then dialing a little bit further into that fiber, there's something called resistant starch. And that resistant starch helps your blood sugar maintain and prevents those dips, so it has that sustained energy. Sometimes if you don't have a great breakfast, or maybe you don't have a breakfast, at about 10 o'clock, you crash and you reach for something maybe that's not great for you. And that's because you didn't have that sustained energy because of fiber. And then also sorghum is a source of iron, and iron, it plays a critical role in delivering oxygen throughout your body, and that helps prevent fatigue. So really, there's so many reasons to include sorghum in your diet. And again, this research, we're really hoping to just underscore all these amazing things and really cement sorghum in that diet of most Americans.
Lanier Dabruzzi with United Sorghum Checkoff joining us, and you hit on so many benefits out there with sorghum and kind of trying to reinforce its benefits with this study. So what are some realistic timelines on results from this study and collaboration? What can you tell us about that?
Sure. So this is in collaboration with the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. And this study will be a 4-year study. It's a human clinical trial, and that's a pretty standard 4 to 5 years is pretty standard timeline for a human clinical trial. And our plan is to share updates about results as we get them throughout the study. And the great thing about long-term studies is we are hypothesizing, sorghum is going to help with those various diseases that I mentioned: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity. But we know we're just scratching the surface of sorghum, right? It is a lesser researched grain. So we're really excited about finding out what we don't know about sorghum and what we can share about all the really wonderful benefits around sorghum that we don't quite know yet. And this research is really phase 1. And we're hoping for a second phase that will happen, that will lead to an FDA qualified health claim a few years down the road.
Well, it's a very interesting study, and again, trying to highlight all the nutritious benefits of sorghum in your diet. And Lanier, before we wrap up as well today, I do want to mention this news that came out shortly before we started our conversation. Actually, I know you guys are excited about an IQF, an individually quick frozen cooked whole grain sorghum. This is something being rolled out. Tell us a little bit about this partnership and this news, Lanier.
Sure. I was so thrilled that we were able to share this news today with you, Jesse. IQF is individual quick frozen. So imagine going and grabbing a bag of frozen peas, for example. They're not clumped together, they're frozen individually. So we have worked with Riviana Foods and Harvest Food Group to develop this product over the last few years. What this is doing is meeting a market need right now. You know, I talk all about sorghum and its nutrition and how wonderful it is all the time. And the second question I get from people is, okay, where can I get it? Right? So this is really helping fill that need. We are working with food service companies. So everybody from schools, school meals to hospitals, and then restaurants. So we're really hoping that in the near future, you will be able to find sorghum on a menu or on trays or plates really close to you, and you can be able to enjoy this highly nutritious, sustainable grain.
A lot of exciting things happening surrounding sorghum. Lanier, anything final you would add or reiterate for folks here on the show today?
I would invite you, if you don't already follow us on social media, we share a lot of great recipes and tips and tricks and really interesting information. So follow us on social media, and I invite you to visit our website, sorghumcheckoff.com, for delicious recipes and more information there.
We appreciate the conversation and the time. Director of Nutrition and Food Innovation at the United Sorghum Checkoff Program, Lanier Dabruzzi. Thanks for joining us here on AOA, and we'll look forward to talking to you again down the road. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it.